So today we talked to Brittany Sandreto. Now, Brittany is the wife of a very good friend of mine, Rock, who was on an earlier episode that you can go back and watch. So we talked to Brittany about growing up, how she started working in a salon at 15 years old. She goes from working in a salon to working in a salon for 10 years cutting hair. Then, out of a leap of faith, her and her husband opened their own salon. And now they have probably the best salon in the city of Birmingham, which is over 1 million people. And they're opening up their second one. We talk about her journey of being married and taking a leap of faith and having her husband quit his job to help her run the salon. And then the 4 wonderful kids they have and why they homeschool 2 of them, but they don't homeschool the other 2. And then their entrepreneurial journey into having their own hair line. And then also the other investments that they do as they've gotten older. You are going to absolutely love my talk with Brittany Sandreto. Brittany, thank you so much for being here. So just so everybody knows, Brittany is a little nervous, and I told her this is very conversational. So she should not be nervous at all. So the first question we like to ask everybody is, who are you? What do you do? And why does it matter?
Okay.
So tell me.
I am Brittany Sandreto.
Okay.
I am a wife.
Okay.
I'm a mother, and I'm a business owner. And those are all super important.
Very.
A wife is important. I am called to serve my husband. A mother, same thing. And as a business owner, same thing.
Yeah.
And those matter because that's my purpose. That's who I'm called to be.
So they had an open house last night at the salon, and one of the things she just said, because I asked about how it went, was how did it go? And she was super excited. Tell them why you were super excited. You said, I was so excited because, tell them what you said. I thought that was very interesting, what you said.
I just was in awe of almost our entire team showed up, and it was not mandatory. And just celebrating with them and walking around, spending time with them at our open house was just, it brought me so much satisfaction to see my whole team wanting to be there.
Yeah.
And all of us spend time together. So
how many of them is it? How many people?
I think we're at 50 employees.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. So you own a business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know that we've touched on what that is. So before we get into that, let's go back. So you're a Birmingham girl from the area.
I grew up towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
I went to high school at Oak Mountain High School. So my parents moved us over here.
Hey, do you know Jay Clark?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm. He was in my grade.
I'm great friends with him.
Really? He's a nice guy.
Lives in Trussville.
Okay.
Do you know Mark Mellicar?
Yes, but I think from church, not from school. I don't think I know from school.
Mark went to Oak Mountain.
Did he?
So either you're older or you're younger than Jay or you.
Okay.
Went to Mississippi State, played football.
Mm-hmm.
Big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Great. He's one of my best friends. He's our financial guy.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how. I know that name, but.
I don't know why I didn't know that you went to Oak Mountain.
I went to Oak Mountain High School.
We digress. So you go to Oak Mountain.
Yes.
So you go to Oak Mountain and then talk to me about growing up. Talk to me about growing up. First.
Growing up. Okay.
So what tell me about your family, your mom, your dad, what that was like.
So, so I grew up, we lived in a trailer first growing up.
Okay.
Which I love to tell that part, and because my dad's one of the hardest working men I know. So seeing that to where he is now has just been, it's been really cool to watch. So we did that, we lived there, and then he built a house, his own. That's what he does. He builds houses. And it's just neat to look back on because I can see when he started doing well.
Sure.
I remember getting a brand new washer and dryer. Like he brought that home to my mom, and it was brand. And I think they still have it. Like it's. But so grew up there. We didn't go to church growing up, but they started having problems in their marriage, like probably everybody does. But they were going to get a divorce. They came to us and said, "We're going to get a divorce."
How old were you at the time?
I was probably 10 or 11.
Okay.
And my grandmother had just married this man, amazing man. He started taking us to church. So he'd come by, pick us up, take us to church. Well, that day when they sat down with us and they said they were going to get a divorce, I just knew we had to get them to church. Yeah. And so we begged them. So we went to church. And I remember opening the doors of the sanctuary and seeing my parents praying down at the altar. And so that's a huge part of my story, just because I see God just plucking me up in different times and put me in places where I didn't deserve it. And just seeing like how he's had his hand on my life the whole time. So.
Wow. So your dad is a home builder, so self-employed.
Yep.
Talk to me about mom. What did you see your mom doing?
So
growing up?
mom worked at a machine shop. She worked at the coal mine for a while, and then she worked at a machine shop, and then she quit to help my dad.
Okay.
So she did all the books and all of his everything for the business.
So the business part of your life is like it's been that's all you've really ever seen.
For sure.
Okay. So 10 or 11 years old, parents getting divorced.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, so from the time kids are 7 to even into high school, you always get the question, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
What did you say during those years?
So in high school, I started working in a hair salon, and I fell in love with it like immediately.
Okay.
I loved the smell of it. I loved the people. I loved someone different walking through the door every 30 minutes. I loved it. So I knew very early on that's what I wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah. So I was 15. I started working in a salon, and that's what I've been doing.
So at 15, I got a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
You've got a 16-year-old. At 15, how did you start working at a hair salon? What did you start doing there?
Yeah, whatever he told me to do.
Yeah.
I swept, I did laundry, I checked people in, checked people out, answered the phones. And so that's what I did. And whatever he asked me to do, I did it.
So this is a great lesson because I did mine way later than you did. So at 15 and 16, you are doing every job in the place, the jobs that nobody wants.
Oh yeah.
And for all business owners, for most business owners, at some point you have to do those things. And I tell people, my kitchen, I've got a staff of 15 or 20, and I tell them, hey, I've done everything in here. I don't do those things anymore, but everything in here we've done at some point. And as a business owner, not only do you have to do those things because you have to teach sometimes, but you have to do those things because you have to learn and understand what that human being that you're paying to do, what they're doing. So 15, 16 years old, you're working in a salon, just doing the stuff. You're not cutting hair or nothing
No,
like
no,
that
no.
yet.
Not, I mean, if anybody let me, like friends, I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But no, I was not.
Okay, so where did it
licensed.
progress from there?
So yeah, I worked there all the way through high school. I ended up doing like co-op, so I'd get done at lunch and just go straight to work. And then when I got done with school, I went to hair school. And
Meaning when you graduated?
when I graduated from high school, and I went to hair school, and then I still worked there. I went back to work there, right, like full time after high school.
Same salon?
Same salon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. And then I went to a bigger salon, and that was a real small. It was just me and him. And so I went to a bigger salon. I worked there for about 10 years, probably.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we opened our own.
Okay. So transition a little bit. You're working at this salon. When did you meet your husband? So Rock Sandreto, fan favorite of our show, was on one of the earlier episodes, but then also on a recent episode where he and I and Stephen Higgins did an episode together. So tell us about meeting him and how that worked, where you're working full time, what he's doing in y'all's relationship.
So I went to hair school, and me and his sister were best friends. Her name's Brittany as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she had told me, do not date my brother.
Wow.
And I was like,
Okay.
got it. And I was good with that. I didn't really like him that much at first, but he was crazy about me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so he kept pursuing. He was very, very persistent. And so I told him if his sister was okay with it, I'd go on a date. And so he asked his sister if we could go on a date. Yeah, asked his sister on a date with me. And she, So we went on a date, and then, And then about a year later, we got married.
So you're working at the big salon.
So I'm working at small salon.
Okay.
When we got married.
And then what is he doing at the time?
So he was working at High Tech Mobility. It's a wheelchair handicap.
I know exactly what it is.
Yep. That's where he was working at.
And then he started working. So I know Rock really well. He started working at the mines, and he's working at the mines, and you're working at the salon.
I'm working at the salon.
Okay, so have y'all had any kids yet at this point?
I was pregnant with the second one when he was working at the coal mine.
Okay. So tell me about that transition of small salon, big salon to your
to our own.
salon.
Yeah. So we had always talked about it, even like growing up. I remember my dad saying that he wanted to get like a space and build me my salon and all this. So it's always kind of in the back of my head that was the goal.
Yeah.
But when we got married, it was just like, okay, well, where's the money going to come from? How are we going to do this, And so it just kept being pushed like to the side. And we talked about it for years, and we even went and looked at places, and nothing ever just seemed right. And I remember talking to one of our friends, Hayes Kirby. He's the pastor at Fultondale campus. And he was like, when are you ever going to open up your own place? And I was like, well, I'm just waiting for God to open a door. And he was like, well, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. And I kind of got a little offended. I was like, whatever, buddy, you know, like,
screw you.
I'm not cutting your hair no more. Like, get out of here. And so then I went home and I told Rock what he said.
Go beat him up.
Yeah, like, I'm done with him. And he was like, no, he's right. And he's like, if you don't do this, I don't want you to ever talk about it again. And I was like, okay. Like, I just,
screw you too.
Yeah, I was like, what is this about? And so I'm still thinking this is like years away. And Rock went and found a location, and he was like, I want you to go look at it. And so I went and looked at it. I walked in. I knew immediately, even though the walls were like bright red, lime green. It was ugly. But I just knew. I just could see it. Like, I can still see it. And so that was our first location. That was Valleydale. And he worked his tail off getting that all ready. He was at the coal mine. And at the time, he was planning on staying at the coal mine. He wasn't planning on quitting.
Because coal mine's pretty good money.
Yeah, it was good. And it was us opening a business that was going to be, something that gave us security of knowing that we have income coming in. We have retirement. We have insurance, And so when he'd get off work, he'd go to the salon and he was building it out. He did everything. He got it all ready. And then 2 weeks before we opened, I was reading Pearls of the King by Lee Domain, and I clearly heard from the Lord. I mean, it was like audible that Rock was supposed to quit his job. And I asked that voice, well, what's the other option? I need that's not going to work,
There's got to be multiple choice.
There was B and C. And there was no other choice. So it was gone. And so when he came home, I told him, hey, I think you're supposed to quit your job. And he was like, I can't do that. I'm like, I know. So I'm like, see, Lord, we can't do that. And so he called his dad, and he asked his dad, he told his dad to be praying for us. And his dad was like, for what? And he was like, well, I don't want to tell you. I just need you to be praying for us. Before he got off the phone, his dad said, it's time. And he's like, it's time for you to quit your job.
Wow.
And so he quit his job, and we just took a leap of faith and hadn't looked back since.
So talk to me about this. There's somebody out there listening to this. Somebody sent this to somebody that's working in a salon that has a vision of owning their own salon, because there's so many people out there that I don't want to say envy, but they want to be in your shoes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the transition from being at this, we called it the bigger salon, to starting your own salon. Let's talk logistical. So you've probably got a full book of business at this point. And you're working at a salon, working for someone. Were you working booth rent or commission?
I was booth rent at the time.
Oh, perfect. So explain the difference in booth rent and commission real quick.
So commission is a percentage base. So the salon makes a percentage off of the stylist.
So you cut my hair, it costs $100.
Yeah. Usually it's 40 to 50% is commission.
Okay. Booth rent is?
You pay for all your own supplies, everything, and you pay a fee each week or month to the owner.
Pay for all your shampoo.
Pay for everything.
Pay for
taxes,
being there. But if
everything.
You make $40,000 in cutting hair, you just pay that fee and that's it. But which one's better?
There's pros and cons to both.
Sure.
It depends on the person. If they can manage it well, and then booth rents is fine. But if they can't, it's really not more money when you sit down and figure out the percentages. But some people think it is, because at the time more money's coming in, so you're seeing more money. But really, at the end of the day, after you buy your color and you pay for all your expenses, taxes, everything, you end up really not making as much.
So when you transition into working for somebody to own your own place, how big was your place when you started?
I had 6 chairs.
6 chairs. So you start off, did you have people that were going to come
Just
with
me.
you? Just you. You and 5 other empty chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that. How many people did you bring with you that were your clients?
I don't even know.
A bunch?
Yeah. I mean, I had a full book. I was
full book of business. So I'm not taking on any business at this time. I had no idea this was a thing that people just didn't take on other people, but you were full and couldn't take on any more clients.
I was open to taking more people because I was working way more hours than I were before.
At the other place. So you open up, it's just you.
Just me.
My boy Rock is working the
He's
front
front
desk. He's the
desk.
front desk girl.
Oh, he was not good front
Not
desk.
really good at the front desk. I have a hard time seeing that because he can talk to anybody. So he's doing that. So tell me about that first 6 months or a year. Give me that transition and how that was.
Oh, yeah. So we had 6 months of living expenses saved up. So
Okay.
we knew.
That's smart.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be dumb if you're going to jump out.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So if you had, let's just say, for example, say it takes you $4,000 a month
Yeah.
to like pay the mortgage and pay the bills and pay for food,
Yeah.
pay your car note, whatever it is, you had $24,000 saved up. That's what
Right.
you're saying.
Yep.
Great. Okay, it's good advice. All right, go ahead.
We had no debt. So that was something that wasn't heavy on us. And yeah, so for 6 months, we were like, okay, we've got to be able to pay ourselves in 6 months because it was going to be gone. And so that when that 6 months came up, we paid ourselves, and we were like, okay. And then the next month we paid ourselves, and we were like, okay. So it was like, and it wasn't much, but we paid ourselves, and we were able to pay our bills, and so yeah, that's how that flowed.
So you talk about having no debt. So the big question is a lot of people have is I'm making money doing it. So give me a number, a round number of what you were making before you transitioned to owning your own salon. What were you bringing in a month, around about?
Probably $3,000.
$3,000 a month.
Yeah.
So you bring in about $3,000 a month. How did you finance the salon? So Rock's got a full-time job. Y'all quote find a place. He goes in and demos and gets the place fixed up. How'd you pay for the fixing up how'd you pay for all that? What was the process?
We had a loan for the first location.
Okay.
And then we paid it off.
How much was the loan?
It was $90,000.
So $90,000 got you in the building, and then also
And then we had
paid for the fixing up of
right
everything.
for sure. Yep. And then we put some in the bank, just in the business account.
Rainy day fund. Okay, so when did you start adding people to cut hair in next to you? Because you got 6 chairs.
Yeah.
It's just you. That's kind of weird. So tell me about that. How'd you go on about adding people?
I had a girl in a small group. She was great because she had actually had her own salon. So it was cool how like the Lord put her in our lap.
Okay.
So she worked with us for a while. She was incredible. And then we just had people start stopping by and wanting to interview. And it really is not me. This did not happen because this all grew because like I said before, of like the Lord just has put so much favor.
Yeah.
It is not. I do not take any of the credit. I do not, because just looking back on it and seeing how things panned out and how things worked together, it was something bigger than me.
Sure. Tell me, and we haven't even talked about the name. What's the name of your salon?
Salon 43:1.
So what does 43:1 stand for?
Isaiah 43:1.
So tell me that verse.
So he says, I've redeemed you. I've called you by name. You are mine. And then it goes on to talk about like, hey, you're going to have troubles.
Yeah.
You're going to go through tough times. But like at the end of the day, that's what we stand on.
Right.
Like he's called us. We're his. And so I've always clung to that verse because we all go through things. And so that's always given me a little bit of hope.
That's wonderful. So a lot of people don't know this is one of the best salons, top salons in Birmingham. So you ask anybody about this place, and everybody in Birmingham knows about it. Random friends of mine, their wives get their haircut there. There are men that get their haircut there. So it's a great place. So you've got 6 chairs. How long before you had a full place? Like I got 6 salon people. I got 6 haircutters, whatever you call them, in there doing that. How long did it take you to fill the place up?
Maybe a year.
Okay.
I'm not really sure on those numbers. So at the beginning we got connected with a consulting group, and they helped us. Did you need to say something?
No, go ahead.
They helped us set up like all of our our percentages, everything that we wanted, and we didn't even know how to get there.
Yeah.
They came along beside us and showed us.
So was that whose idea was that? You or Rock?
That was one of our reps. She just came in and said,
Like, what do you mean rep?
so we have color reps that come in or shampoo or whatever, all of our products.
Everybody's selling something.
Yes. So they come in and they say, hey, we'll order our color through her, and she places the order and then she ships it to us.
Right.
So she came in and she said, hey, I think this would be really great for y'all. And so we flew down to, I think it was Tampa maybe, and took this, did this course. And the people there were just very like-minded. Everything, I mean, we were just like, our eyes, our minds were exploding. Everything was just made sense. Everything they were saying was like, yes, that's what we want. That's what we want. And so they helped us sit down. So we got a coach, and they helped us sit down and do our percentages and do our budgets and do how to really maximize the space that we were in.
What did that cost?
It was, I think we were able to get 6 months free or something at the time for signing up, and then it was $2,000 a month after that.
So no fee on the front end?
I don't believe so. Rock's the numbers guy, so.
Okay, so you had this.
Maybe.
Okay, so let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
So, Julie, this girl in Tennessee.
Okay.
Great friends of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Love this lady.
Mm-hmm.
So she owns a salon called Omayet Salon. It's in Cookeville.
Mm-hmm.
And they were chugging right along, doing very well.
Yeah.
Very similar to you.
Okay.
In just like the way you think, the way you believe. Husband's a car salesman.
Mm-hmm.
He quit the car sales job to work for the salon. So the stories are very similar. I have no idea why I haven't told y'all this yet. So, but she said they blew up, and all of a sudden they just got extremely busy, and it was like nuts.
Yeah.
And so she was in a strip on a historic strip, so not like a strip mall, but a historic strip in downtown Cookeville. So it was old, big, tall brick building, and they were on the bottom. And they didn't have a sign above on the brick. It was just on the window.
Okay.
And they got a rinky-dink $500, $400 tarp sign, and it said salon. And they put it up. And I'm like, Julie, what are you doing? Because they have a really clean, very much similar to y'all's place, very clean, classy, just a beautiful look. Omayet, it's a cool word. It looks cool. And she said that freaking sign made all the difference in their initial uptake in business. And I said, why did you do that? She said, we hired a consultant. And she said the consultant, much like I've heard Rock say, much like you said, made all the difference in the world. Because for 10 years, you were told what to do. You probably had no idea on the back end of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they hired a consultant. So tell me this. So there's a lot of things out there, whether I don't care what you own. You own a restaurant, whether you own a catering, whether you own a salon, lawyer, whatever. There are so many consultants out there.
Yeah.
What did they help you with?
Well, I mean, the first thing that really got my attention was just very like-minded. Like, I like how they were it wasn't about themselves. They were about their whole team. Yeah. That was huge to me. They were about furthering the kingdom. That's huge to me.
Okay, so
very like-minded. That was something that really drew us in. Everything made sense. The numbers, when they laid everything out, it was like, that all makes sense. Like, and so we knew, like, Rock's very good with budgets, and that's his thing. But like, as you're growing, you're starting to see that your numbers are increasing. And so when we were doing our numbers, we were like, it was so hard for us to understand, like, how much color should we order? How much like is in payroll taxes? How much is our rent? I mean, all these different things. Yeah. Well, they show you, like, this is what your budget should be. This is how much percentage you should spend on color. This is how much you should spend on your utilities. This is how much you should spend on. And that helped us to be like, not go over to where at the end of the month where you can make payroll.
Gotcha. So you hired this guy. How long did you stay with a consulting company?
We still use them.
Still pay them?
We still, now we're on a thing where we'll pay them like a one-time, like a yearly one-time to look at all of our stuff.
So let me ask you this question. Do you ever get to a point where you outgrow that company and you have to go to another company? Would you get like, is there like minor league salon consulting and then you got the big boys? Because you guys are growing. You fixed to have a second location. We'll talk about that in a second. So you guys are growing pretty good. So do you ever think, hey, we need to hire somebody else because we're at a point where I don't know if Johnny and them are helping us anymore?
I guess it depends. I mean, with them, no, I don't feel like that. The guy that is our coach, he's like that step ahead of us. So he's done multiple locations. Right. He has a school. And so he's really someone great that we like to get ideas from or bounce ideas off of because he's that step ahead of us. So I guess it depends on, who your consultant is. I don't know. With us, we haven't felt that way.
Well, you still love this person. They're still giving value.
They're still great.
Great. So you've got the 6-chair salon over on Valleydale, which is about, for everybody that knows Valleydale's right around the corner for here in Birmingham. Tell me where you progressed from there and how long were you there at this place?
So we were there for 2015 for 3 years, and
Okay.
we were bumping into each other. We were running out of space.
Okay.
And so looking back on it, I would do things a lot differently, but you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so at that time we were like, let's do another location. And so we looked at this place at 119. This place came available. We were so excited, and that's where we're at now. And so we had that one. 18, we opened that one up, and then our focus was a lot on that one, and we didn't have the right management team in place. And I can look back on it now and be okay with it, but for a while, if that one failed eventually, or to me, I feel like it failed. Somebody ended up coming along and buying that location, and it worked out. To God be the glory, but
Worked out for them, not for
it worked
y'all.
out for them. We got paid, but it wasn't the dream that I wanted,
Sure.
And so I felt failure, and I don't like to fail. Who does?
Yeah.
And so that was hard for a moment, and I was like, I'll never do another location. I'm just going to do this one, and we'll do it well. But I still just had that itch on the inside of I want to do more. And so then I started just really trying to figure out why did it fail, and not just sit there and waddle in it and waddle in self-pity and try to get my bootstraps on and pick myself up and figure out what could I do differently if I were to do this again.
Okay, so that's the next question.
Okay.
What would you do different? Is it a personnel thing? Is it a systems thing? What would you do differently if okay, we're gonna make this work in this location, not the new one, because the new one's a totally different animal. The ones you're fixing to open up. So tell me, what would you do different
At that time, or moving,
if
or
you
doing
had
it,
to
or
do
doing.
If you had to do it over again now, what would you do differently?
I would have, if I had to do it over again, I would have closed that one down and moved everybody to that 119 location.
Really?
I would have.
Okay.
I was not ready for another location.
Why?
I didn't have systems in place.
Okay.
I didn't have processes in place. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a management team in place.
Were you managing everything?
I was managing
You and Rock?
everything. We had a manager, and it just wasn't what it needed to be.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I would have. That's what I would have done differently. But now, what I've learned from it is we've developed processes, we've developed systems, and I've got the most amazing team in place. So moving forward, I said when I finally got over the defeat, I was like, if I ever do this again, I want to partner with someone that can help.
Okay.
And so we had someone come to us, a girl that's been working with us for 5 years, and she was like, I want to open my own salon, but I want y'all to do it with us. And so it worked out. We've been meeting with them for, I guess this is 2 years now, and we're finally opening the second one up.
So you're opening the second salon. We've talked about, Rock and I have talked about this at length. Talk to me about the financial part of it. I know that there's an equity split there. Are they giving anything financially, or is it more y'all financially and they're just doing the sweat? Tell me about that. What are y'all doing there?
So we're doing, I have a manager that we've had, and she is like, I could not do it without her. She is amazing at what she does. And so I wanted to bring her alongside and let her have some equity in it too. So big goal is to have multiple locations and for all of us as a team to be doing this, not just Rock and I. So the equity split would be is 60-40.
Okay.
So we're 60, they're 40. But my manager has 10% with us.
So y'all have got 50. It's 50, 40, 10.
Right.
Okay. So did all three parties give financially?
Yep.
They did.
did.
That's great. So you're at your location now. Tell me about your location now.
Yeah.
Give me an idea of number of people.
Okay.
We talked about your 50 employees. Give me tell me how the system works now, because you went from 6 chairs
to 13.
Okay.
So we had 13, or we had we had 11, but we had plugged up or had run electrical for more stations.
Okay.
And so I don't know. At that time, I think we just thought that was going to be it, So we had 13, or so we put another station in, did 13, and then eventually we outgrew that spot, and we knocked the wall down next door and put in 8 more chairs.
Was there a immediate uptick in business when you moved to the new location? Why?
I think the location, It was new, it's exciting. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but the location's huge. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's talk about that. How important, like a gas station.
Yeah.
Like I stop at the same gas station to get gas. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's right by my house. I go to the same gym because the gym's 1.25 miles from my house.
Yeah.
Like location rules a lot of our life. How important is location when it comes to a salon?
I think if you're a stylist that's been around for a long time, it's not super important because people are going to follow their stylist. They're going to go wherever they're at. I mean, it could be in the bottom of their basement, and they're going to go to see them because that's
Why? What is
that's
it?
their stylist.
What is it about that? Okay, so there's a lady in Trustful that there are people from Homewood and a guy from Chelsea that come to Trustful. It's 45 minutes.
I know.
What is it about?
Yeah.
What is it? Tell me that.
It's
I don't
just
understand.
you build this relationship with your stylist. Like I've had people that used to go to the guy that I worked for in high school that come to me. Still,
Really?
yeah.
But what
I don't know. It's just you build this relationship. You know their hair. They can sit down and they can say, do whatever. Like know, it becomes like they're your people.
It's a trust factor.
Yeah.
So tell me about the growth of when you moved in. So you had 11 chairs.
11 chairs.
And then how did that progress?
Yeah, it
And this
grew.
was in 18.
That's 18.
So we're in late 2023 right now. This show will air in early 2024. So you're in 18 and you've got 11 chairs. Tell me about the progression.
Yeah, it was one of those that grew super quick. And, it's hard to, when I look back on it too, because that was growing so fast, but then my other location was just not doing well. And so that's kind of, I was focused more on that. I guess we always focus more on the negative.
Sure.
And I was more focused on that. But yeah, so that one was growing super fast. So then, let's see, then I guess 2 years go by, 2020 hits.
Yeah.
And it was one of our biggest years.
2020
yeah,
was.
which is wild. Which is another like goodness, if you don't know Jesus, get to know him, because that I say that's only the reason why. Like everybody else says 2020 was their worst year, but it was one of our greatest years.
What is the hardest part about what you do now?
Hardest part about what I do. I have a lot of vision, a lot of dreams, and I feel like I can't get to them quick enough.
Okay. So how do you process that? I mean, how do you do you write it down? Do you talk? What do you do? What do you do?
I do both of those things. And then some of it, I have to go to Rock and I tell him like, hey, this is a dream I have, but I know this isn't going to happen like tomorrow, but I have to share it, And then some of them take off and some of them don't, but I think that's the hardest thing. 'Cause I've got so much that I want to do, and I feel like I can't get to it quick enough.
Sure. I want to go back to the growth part.
Okay.
Tell me about the growth part, and I want to be more specific. She's like, hey, we grew,
Yeah.
No, I'll tell me, 11 chairs.
11 chairs.
In 2018.
Okay,
Where did
so
you go from there?
We are at 24 chairs now.
Okay.
So we double shift, so that's how we're able to have.
I did not know this was a thing.
Yeah.
He told me this last week. So tell me about double. And if I'm just a moron, y'all forgive me. Tell me about the double shift thing, because I didn't know that was a thing. So double shifts.
So we run 8 to 8, so 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So the girls can choose to work. Say they want to work 2 doubles and 1 single. They can do that and be like a nurse and work 3 days. Or say they want to work 5 days. They can work, the 5 shifts. So 8 to 2 or 2 to 8 or 8 to 8. Depends on.
So you require them to work X number of shifts per week.
I require them to work shift. It's 30 hours is what we require.
You want them to work 30
hours.
They're required to work 30 hours.
We've found that with the new generation, they're going to give it their all for 30 hours. If I give them more than that, then they're not going to work super hard.
What if Johnny or Susie wants to work more than 30, will you give it to them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they can work as much as they want to work, but 30 is what I ask of them to hit the numbers, to hit their goals.
How many stylists do you have on the payroll?
We have, I think we're at 37. And then we have girls that are training. So we do a training program too.
Okay.
And then front desk and all that.
So you're at how many chairs? You said 23 chairs?
There's got to be more than 37. We have 24 chairs.
24 chairs.
So
is there any more room to expand at the one night at the location you're at now?
Yes, we have plugged up for I think 2 more stations.
What about in the building? Are you going to be able to get?
No, I'm I guess never say never. We could if we wanted.
could.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to me about this second location. This
Yes.
has been on the talks for probably a year now.
A while.
Um,
It's new. It's a new construction, so
Okay.
it's taken forever to
Yeah.
get off the ground. But it should be like April, May.
have they started and broke ground and all that good stuff?
Mm-hmm.
When will y'all start designing and putting things in the building?
Probably around April, I would say, if
Okay.
it's built by then.
So tell me about what you do day to day now.
Mm-hmm.
So working
Yeah.
at 15, 16, being at a salon where you were just an employee.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say just an employee, where you were an employee for 10 years.
Yeah.
Owning your own place with 6 chairs, growing into a second location, a location 1 failing,
Yeah.
having 11 chairs. Now you're at 23 or 24 chairs, whatever it was. Tell me about day to day now. How many days a week are you cutting hair?
I go in on Thursdays, and not because I have to, but I just people I've done forever, like we talked about.
Yeah.
And I need to probably back off
Why?
from it. I don't feel like I do both well. Like, I don't feel like I run the salon well or behind. I can't do both well when I'm behind the chair. That's what I feel. I want to give my all to my clients, but I feel like behind me, the whole salon's running.
Yeah.
And they do a great job. They
Sure.
don't really, they probably like when I'm busy, so I'm not micromanaging everybody. But, yeah, so I don't know. I find more passion in seeing my team grow and helping them
Yeah.
than I do being behind the chair anymore.
So tell me what you do day to day.
Yeah.
So you're cutting hair Thursdays. What
Yeah.
about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Friday? What's the rhythm
I
there?
love being there. I love being at the salon.
Okay.
So there's times where I have to force myself not to go. Whether that's, our 2 older kids, we homeschool them.
Yep.
So whether that's being home with them and helping them, or making sure I, have laundry done or groceries or, but I love being at work. Like it, fulfills something
Yeah.
in me. But anyways, if I go in, I go to my office, I run numbers, I make sure my whole team's doing well. I look at their stuff, I look at our numbers, see if where we're supposed to be. I'll go talk to the team, I talk to clients, I probably clean up something.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But is there? Well, so my question is this: as business owners, we sometimes get lost because we start replacing ourselves, whether it be management,
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
cutting hair. So is there? Because I'm a rhythmatic
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Like Monday, team meeting with marketing team. Then it's like I got things laid out certain days. So tell me what the rhythm is
Yeah.
on those 3 days when you're not the first 3 days when you're not in the chair. Is there a concise
Yeah.
thing that you do?
Yeah.
Like Monday's this, Tuesday's this, Wednesday's this.
No. It's probably just, I have a checklist that I go through, and I know these are things I need to check on. But no, I have a system of making sure, I think if I take care of myself and my family, then I have to make sure those things are taken care of well before I can make sure work's taken care of, or else I feel scattered.
Right.
So I get up 5:30, have my coffee, do my quiet time, get the kids ready for school. The 2 little ones go to school. Then I go to the gym, and then I'm ready then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do what I need to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I go in the salon. And
So very similar to us. We've got 3. You've got 4. We've got 2 kids that we homeschool, 1 kid that we don't. Talk to me about why you decided to homeschool the two big kids.
yeah. So my oldest, when she was in kindergarten, I just felt it on my heart, very strongly. Came to Rock, told him, I feel like we need to homeschool, and he was like, absolutely not. And I was like, okay, I guess we're not doing that. And but then years go on, and we just kept feeling it. Finally, he was on the same page, and we both were like, this is what we need to do. And so we started homeschooling the older 2, and then the younger 2 we will eventually. I just don't want to teach anybody to read.
No doubt.
So
So I know why, because Rock's from the same part of town that I am. I know
yeah.
why I thought
yes,
I would have said no
Right,
about
right.
homeschooling.
Yeah.
Why did he say no about homeschooling?
Same thing. He was like, I want our kids to be able to read, and I'm like, I understand.
Yeah.
I get you.
Homeschool kids were weird from weirdos.
They were weird, yeah, but it's so different now.
They're not weirdos
and,
anymore.
Yeah.
Now, some of the homeschool kids are weirdos.
Yeah.
And my kids are, but some people probably think my kids are weirdos.
I'm okay with them being a weirdo.
Yeah,
There's a
me
lot
too.
more weirdos out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on now.
So you got 2 that are homeschooled, 2 that are not. 16,
16, 13.
13. Are they pretty self-sufficient as
They
far
are.
as school is concerned?
Yeah, so
Do they like school? Because mine don't like school.
No, not really.
Okay.
No. So the oldest works a lot at the salon.
Okay.
So she
Is
does
she going to
that.
cut hair?
I think so. I mean, whatever she wants to do. But she's leaning more towards that.
Okay.
So we'll see.
So we've got the salon. We got a second
Mm-hmm.
salon coming up. You're probably going to be busy with that. Talk to me about the things you do outside of the
Oh,
salon.
I don't have any hobbies.
No. As far as the business is concerned.
Okay,
So like
okay.
business life, business things. So I've talked about this before. You got to have people in your life that you talk through things with, that you have ideas with, that you're like-minded with. Brock is one of that people for me, and that's your husband. And so I probably know more about you than you know about me. So tell me about where you are in y'all's business, non-salon business life, and the investments and the things
Okay.
that y'all do. What's your involvement there?
I love that part too, and mainly I love having different streams of income coming
Yeah.
in because it makes me feel better about the salon not being so heavy of it being like providing for us.
The pressure.
Yeah, I love having all these different streams coming in. So we've gotten involved with investing in different opportunities and oil and gas, ATMs. What else have we done? I don't even know.
Doing a
Land.
land deal, yeah.
Yeah. And
Just
so
ask about your investments. I'll tell you.
Okay. Yeah, you probably know more about it than I do.
So tell me about the Rock's involved in Wealth Without Wall Street, I think, more than you are. Tell me about your involvement there. Are you
Yeah.
involved there other than
I
going to
am.
the events? Tell me
I
about
do,
that.
yeah.
What's that?
I love it. I love all things business. Same thing with that group. They're very like-minded.
Yeah.
But I love just listening. I like to be in a room with people that are doing things bigger than I'm doing them, and I just want to learn everything I can from them. And that group is those people. I feel so alive when I'm in that group. I don't know. They inspire me to be better. They help me to think differently. They challenge me to the questions they ask. I'm like, I've never asked myself that question before. So that's that group. I love that group.
Heard nothing but good things about it. So talk to me about this. You're around a lot of different, whether it be the mastermind group you guys are involved in, all the different hustlers and people like the people at your salon. 36-year-old woman, extremely successful, married, 4 kids, business owner.
Okay.
You've got a girl, a woman, that comes to you and says, I want to be a business owner. Not necessarily I want to be a business owner like you. I want to be a business owner.
Okay.
What would you tell them? The number one or number 2 things. What would you tell them?
For one thing, don't give up. Like,
Okay.
that's something that I've seen people that have been successful or done well, they haven't given up. So even when they fail or even when things happen, they just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I've just seen so much greater success that way than someone that does, give up and say, oh, it was too hard or it didn't work out, or don't give up. Write your vision down. That was something that was huge for us. It's just writing it down on paper. I think that just there's power behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you really, really good at? No ego.
Okay.
Whatever. I like whether you think it, whether you don't think it, whatever. Someone's told you, hey, you're great at this. What are you good at? Because everybody's got something that they're good at, no matter how talented or untalented they are. What are you really good at?
Okay. I have 2 things.
Great.
Okay.
I love it. Most people are like, I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
what I'm good at.
One thing is I can make the best chocolate chip cookies you've ever had.
Really?
I have my own recipe.
Okay.
And you being a chef,
Okay.
I'm very good at chocolate chip cookies, and
really
I'm very
wanna taste
confident
this.
in that.
I really
will
want
make
to
you
taste this.
some.
Okay, great.
I'm very good at it.
Number
I think
2.
okay, number 2 is, and I've had to work on this because I think that when we have a gift,
Yeah.
that we can either allow the enemy to use our gift or we can allow Jesus to use our gift. So it depends on who you allow to use it.
Right.
So I'm very good at discerning situations. I'm very good at discerning people. I can listen to someone and be like, I just can see things
Sure.
a little clearer when I'm talking to someone. But with that, I've had to learn not everything true has to be said. Like if I'm sitting here talking to someone and I can It doesn't mean I have to tell them everything.
Yeah.
And then also to not be so judgmental. So there's somebody asked me one time, well, why do you feel like you have that gift? And I said, I think it's to pray, to intercede for those people. It's not to, call them out in it. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I love that.
So I think I'm very good at discerning.
That's really, really good, because that's a gift. Because some people are really good at it some of the time. Some people are really good at it all the time. And being able to say that, hey, this is something I'm good at, it's wonderful. And that also probably keeps you really spiritually grounded, meaning like, hey, I love this gift, because that's a great gift to have. And you probably want to keep developing that thing. What do you want to be better at? And I don't want some hokey, rinky-dink answer. What do you want to be better at?
I want to have more fun. I feel like I'm a little like, just sit at home on my couch with my cozy blanket, my cozy socks, and I want to have more fun with people and enjoy people more. My kids are getting older, which is, for a while you're kind of hunkered down with the kids.
Sure.
Raising, and we still are raised them, but I just want to enjoy people more. Like, so I'm very introverted, so
Are you?
I am. I'm an ambivert. I think that's what they call it.
An ambivert.
I think that's what it's called. I can be extroverted.
Yeah.
But it doesn't like give me energy.
Do you an Enneagram person?
Oh yeah.
What are you?
What do you think I am?
I don't know them well enough. I just know what I am, and I know what I'm not.
Let me guess what you are.
Okay.
You're probably 7, 8.
8.
But you lean to 7.
I don't know what a 7 is.
You're 7. You're 7.
I don't know what a 7 is. What are you?
I'm an 8.
That's right.
Woo! Teammate.
So do you know Michelle Moskal? She owns Dreamboat Salon down in Forest Park.
Maybe.
She's wonderful. She's an 8.
Yeah. Most
You guys
business
are very,
leaders,
very, very, very similar.
Oh.
Wonderful.
We probably
wonderful
wouldn't like
lady.
each other then. Most people that are like alike, you don't like them.
I don't know many 8s though.
Yeah, that's true.
I
I think
know
we are.
you-
I think we are like 2% of the population.
Is that it?
I think so.
What is your husband?
3.
What is a 3? Tell me that.
They
Explain
are
that.
very like outer appearance is big to them, like how people perceive them, like their appearance. They're very driven, like with goals, and like they have to meet their goal. If they're like trying to meet it, don't interrupt them. Like let them do it. Don't. That's something I've learned with him.
Enneagram.
3s and 8s are very similar, except let's see, 3s more. 8s aren't. It's not necessarily about their appearance.
8s are self-confident, strong, and assertive, protective, resourceful, straight talking. This guy, and decisive. Yep, that's me. But can also be egocentric and domineering. I have that problem.
To work on it.
8s feel they must control the environment, especially people, sometimes becoming confrontational and intimidating. I get that I'm intimidating all the time, and I really don't think that I am. 8s typically have problems with their tempers, not really, and allowing themselves to be vulnerable a little bit. At their best, self-mastering, they use their strength to improve others' lives, which you've talked about multiple times. Becoming heroic, magnanimous, and inspiring. Our basic fear, is of being harmed or controlled by others.
Yep.
Biggest desire to protect themselves, to be in control of their own life. 7 wing. This is what you said I am?
This is you. I'm wing 9, so that's where we're different.
So they say that 8s and 9s are like polar opposites.
So 9's peacemaker.
The bear. They say I'm the maverick.
Oh.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Wing 7, the maverick. I'm not real sure what that means. So let's look at 3s.
Yeah. This is rock.
Okay.
Big personalities.
3s are? Self-assured, attractive, charming. Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Ambitious, confident, energetic. They also can be status conscious, highly. This is all what you said.
I know.
They're diplomatic and poised. I agree with that, but can be overly concerned with their image and what others think of them. They typically have problems with workaholism. Do you think he's a workaholic?
If he is onto something, he is 1,000% in. If he's
Really?
not onto it, he's 0% in.
At their best, self-accepting, authentic, very much so. Everything seems to be role models, inspiring others. That's really, really good.
know.
How about that? Huh?
I love that stuff.
I don't know a ton about it. Okay. 5 questions at the end. You ready?
I'm ready.
What is your go-to activity with your kids?
I love to take a walk. Like I love to, like just like an everyday activity.
Yeah.
Or just because we go
Nothing
ski
planned.
and stuff.
Nothing
okay.
planned.
Yeah.
No,
I love to go on a walk. Like I've learned so much. Just side by side conversation is I hear so much more from them if we're side by side. So
Really?
just going on a walk. I mean, I could just walk down the road with my son and he just talks and talks and talks. Even my little girls, I love just going on a walk with them.
Wonderful. Who is your favorite follow on social media?
Follower?
Follow. Who do you like to follow?
Oh.
When they pop up in your feed, you're, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really love social media. Anything that's funny, like
You like funny stuff?
I like
Okay.
funny stuff, yeah. Or like house stuff. I love looking at like decorating like house stuff.
Oh, okay. What are you focused on learning right now?
Online, like we started a hair extension company. We haven't
Okay.
talked about that. And I am like obsessed with trying to learn how to do online sales.
Great. So
I'm learning
e-commerce,
that.
all e-commerce stuff.
Yeah, I'm like every second I get, I'm learning that.
We talked about this, and let's get back to our questions. We talked about this. You are taking a Facebook ads course
Yes,
right now, and
I
I have
am.
looked at that, and we're meeting with a guy tomorrow about this.
Yeah.
So why are you talked about the hair company.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's dive into this just
Yeah.
a little bit, and then we'll get back to our questions. You're selling hair.
I am.
Okay. Back in the day when we were kids, when people that got extensions were black women.
Yeah.
Now
Not
it's
anymore.
it's not anymore.
Not anymore.
So you are, and we talked about this with Rock on the previous episode. So you guys you were buying the hair from
Yeah.
company A,
Right.
upselling or upcharging it like everybody do, the
Right.
markup, and then installing it. So there's a huge market in that. Lasts a long time. It's incredibly expensive. So tell me what you guys decided to do instead of buying it from company A. What
Yeah.
did you guys decide to do?
So we developed our own brand, and mainly that was to help our clients and our stylists, because our stylists weren't making any commission or anything off of those upsells. Like we couldn't mark it up too much because you couldn't sell it for that much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we were like, let's develop our own brand. Or I had this big dream. Let's develop our own brand. And Rock wasn't really on board at first until he started seeing the numbers, and he was like, I want to be part of this.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
Okay, come on. So yeah, for about a year, I looked for a good supplier, and so we finally found one, and so now we have our own hairline.
So tell us about if someone wanted to find that, what could they do?
431 Hair Extensions or 431hair.com.
431hair.com, and what they can do is they can go buy that hair.
Yeah.
So
Or education. We do education too.
One of the things he talked about a lot was the quality. So you went through, you said it took you a year,
About a year, yeah.
and just finding quality. This sounds really crazy. We're talking about
I
this.
know.
Finding quality hair that lasts, that looks good, that feels good, all those different types of things was critical. So, but you guys really found a company that's doing this. And so if someone wanted to buy this hair and try this out, what they just go there and order it, and then they take it to their salon. So say they lived in New York or Tennessee or wherever,
Yeah.
they'd buy it from y'all's on website. Y'all would ship it to them. And then from that point, they could go to their salon. Why would they do that as opposed to buying it from their salon? Why would someone do that?
Why they buy our hair?
Yeah.
I love that we have developed this hair in this company. I've gotten so much input from our stylist. So it's not just like me or like a big company that's developed this. This is actually developed by stylists. So even all the names of our colors, even all the weft designs of the hair has all been, I've asked every stylist input, like, hey, how can we make this better? Hey, how can we do that? Why do you like this hair? What could we do differently? And we've tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it to
Right.
make it better and better. So I like it because it's been developed by stylists.
Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask that. We're going to cut that.
Cut.
So take that part out. I'm going to ask the question again. But when I ask the question again, you started off with a lot of ambiguousness and like not very confident. Okay, so I would never buy that because you started off really like, So when you answer the question now, you've already given me the answer. So 4 seconds into your answer, you were like,
Okay.
this is why. Okay. So tell me the problem that you're going to solve. So I'm going to ask the question
Okay.
again. So this is a clip that you guys can pull out
Oh, yeah.
and put on whatever
Okay.
website, whatever social, whatever.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to ask the question again. But then you got to come out the gate loud.
Okay.
But you got about 2 or 3 seconds where you need to grab the person on the other end.
Okay.
Okay. So the new hairline. So why would somebody in another state buy your hair online and purchase it and take it to their salon? Why would somebody buy your hair?
So there's other companies out there that are just big companies.
Okay.
Our company, our hair has been developed by stylists. So each one of our stylists at the salon have had their hands in it. They've looked at it. They put it in hair, and we've tweaked it to make it better and better each time. So that's why I personally love our brand, is because actual stylists have had their hands in it. They've designed it. They've named it. That's why.
Perfect. Okay. That's great. Great answer. All right. So we're going back to our questions. So you're travelers. So I got three questions, but
Okay.
well, part A and part B. What is the favorite vacation that y'all have ever taken?
We love to go to Breckenridge every year. That's probably my favorite.
Really?
I do.
Go
I
to the
love
same
it.
place every year.
Every year.
Jill Pettis says there's a great big world out there. Why do you
There
not go
is.
somewhere different?
Now, if it were up to my husband, he loves to go everywhere.
That's
Not me. I'm like, same thing every day. Like,
Oh,
I
my God.
know.
That's
I know.
so boring.
It is, but that's me.
Okay. What
yeah.
is your favorite vacation that you've never taken?
So I want to see the Northern Lights. That's like a big bucket list for me. And I want to take a sleigh ride out there and see the Northern Lights.
That's a great one. I've not heard that one yet.
Okay.
Are you a reader?
Yes.
What's your favorite book? Don't say the Bible. Your favorite book that you've ever read?
Oh man. There's so many books. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of books out there.
What have you read twice?
The Ideal Team Player.
Okay.
I think it's Patrick
Lencioni.
Whatever, how you say it. I take that book and every time I'm hiring somebody or even like trying to evaluate my team, he talks about being hungry, humble, and smart. And I look at those three things. It's just easy for me to look at our employees and say, well, if they don't have hunger, that's something that is very hard to teach.
That's really good. Okay. You ask me anything you want to right now. That way that we can get.
What's your favorite book?
The Wealthy Gardener.
Oh, yeah. Rock told me that. I'm
Hands
supposed to
down.
read it. I hadn't read it.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful for people like us because it is very applicable to life. Business owner / job. The guy's a business owner and he has a job and he tells a story. He intertwines a parable with the real life story of his life. And it goes back and forth. It's easy to go back and forth. It's easy that you can get back and forth, but he also is a lot of small chapters. Book's 400 pages.
Okay.
But you can read the chapters in 10, 15 minutes. And so you feel like you're just knocking it out really good. And it's wonderful. I mean, every page has got something on there. So it's my favorite book. Love it.
I'll get that. What is a dream you have not accomplished yet?
I want to own 500 units by the time I'm 50. So I'm 43 right now.
7 years.
So I've got 7 years. I got a long way to go. We've only owned 33 right now.
So 7 a year.
500
Oh,
units.
570.
500. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a long way to go. It's a small, I think I've just got to start ticking away at it, start moving a little bit faster than what we're doing. That's one of the big things I want. And the second big goal I have is I want to be a 6-figure giver.
Ooh, I love that.
I got that from an elderly lady in B&I. I first moved to Birmingham, and there was a lady named Elaine, and she was in her 70s, and she was just still killing it, doing direct sales stuff. And she said one of her goals was to be a 6-figure giver.
I love that.
And that is one of my goals. Like, I mean, I've got financial goals, but my biggest financial goal is to give 6 figures a year. That's what I want to do. Not over a lifetime, a year.
Yeah.
I want to give 6 figures a year.
Wow. That's a good goal.
Yep.
I like that.
So, what else?
In order to reach the 500, what does your daily look like and monthly look like in order to get there? I'm a practical person, so I want to have steps if I have a goal like that, and you've got 7 years.
Yeah. The daily goal, the funny thing is I just hired a VA to help me start looking up and researching apartment complexes that are individually owned. So it's really hard to buy apartment complex from a BlackRock or a Shannon Whitlock or someplace like that. Those dudes are not going to sell it. So I've got to find them that are individually owned by people like me and you. And I want to find them that are owned by probably people that are older, because so they want to liquidate, get rid of it, retire, whatever. So like there's one in Huntsville right now that I'm looking at possibly buying. It's 20 units, and the guy that owned it died, and they want to liquidate. Well, I could probably get it at a little bit of a premium just because they're ready to get rid of it. So I want to do more of that. So I'm having someone research that. I'm not going to spend the time to research those things just because I've got 3 or 4 businesses that I already work on. This is a primary thing for me, but it's also not something that I have to depend on the income every month to do. So if we don't have to have the dollars every month, it's sometimes difficult to say, I got to go do this. I got to go do this because there's not a direct return. I'm human just like anybody else. I've got a long-term vision, and I'm a very, very much delayed gratification person, but it's really hard to wrap your mind around those things every single day.
Yeah.
So I need to 7 years. I need to be, like you said, probably 70-ish a year over the next 7 years. I want to buy 20 this year, and then I want to progressively move. My threshold needs to go up a little bit more every year.
Okay.
So that's where my thought is. So,
I like it.
Yep. What else? These are clip questions though too, Luke.
Next question. What advice would you give to your younger self? Start. If I was younger, that's a hard question. I know.
I would say get out of coaching earlier and start owning my own business earlier. I missed 4 years of my first kid's life because I was coaching. But I know that the coaching part developed so many things in me. Yeah. Confidence, addressing a room, being in that position at that time, meeting those people at those times. So like that's really, really difficult. But if I had to like tactically go back, I would say get out of coaching quicker, start owning my own thing quicker, because that I really, really enjoy that. As far as like, so I want you to ask this question. So I thought you were going to ask this, but you didn't. What would you tell a young business owner? Because like I love that question for some people. Okay. So like I loved hearing what you said. You said a totally different answer than what I said, but I get asked this all the time by random people. So you ask me that question, and I'll give you that answer.
What would you tell a young business owner?
The most important thing, in my opinion, is to put your health first. So being in great shape has so many different benefits for being a business owner or just being a human in general. Yeah. But from a business owner's perspective, when you walk in the room and you're in great shape, you garner attention off the jump. Some people are intrigued by it, so they ask questions. Some people are intimidated by it, so they think differently. But some people, when you are in great shape, it shows an extreme amount of detail and delayed gratification in your everyday life. Yeah. So it shows that you can have some stick-to-itness and you have a non-give up attitude, because so many people start in fitness and start in taking care of their health, and they just wane off. They go hard for 6 months and they take a month off. Yeah. Just being in incredibly good shape is one of the most important things. The second thing from a business owner is live extremely below your means. Yeah. So I got a friend of mine that just got a raise. He making $125,000, and he's 31 years old. He went from 125 to 275 overnight. And we talked, and his parents didn't teach him anything about money. And I said, hey, look, you're used to making about $6,000 a month. I said, give yourself a raise, because he's going to take home about $16,000 a month now. I said, give yourself a raise to about 8 or 9. So go from 6 to about 8 or 9, but cut yourself off. Take the rest of it and invest it. And so I would say for everybody, even people that make the money and income that we make, live below what you make, because lifestyle creep is a real thing, and it can get you in trouble extremely fast because you get used to a certain way of life. So those are probably the top 2 things from a business owner perspective. I like that. Is like being in really good shape, and then also live way, way below your means. The practical part of like just human life is number 1 is like figuring out that relationship with Jesus and what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked about it. We've talked about it in the past. That thing is so important because what happens is if you don't have something to go back to, a center point and a belief to go back to, it's really, really difficult when things get hard.
Absolutely.
Really, really difficult. So having that is incredibly important. So you're waving your hand. What you got?
I was stretching.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Anything else? What else you got? Anything for me? Anything, any other thought? Anything else you want to talk about, promote, whatever? What you're doing? Nothing?
Do you want me to ask another question?
No. Now's your time
I don't
to
have
talk
anything.
about something else, whatever. We talked about the hair. All this stuff can be cut. We talked about the hair. We talked about the new salon. We talked about you, family, the rock. We talked about a bunch of stuff. We did good.
Yeah.
I forgot about the hair. I'm glad you brought that up. So,
Okay.
all right. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. You did wonderful today. I know you were nervous when you walked in the door, but you did great. Where can people find you if they want to buy the hair, learn more about you, have questions? Because here's the thing. People come on the podcast and they're like, hey, I'd love to ask her a question because I'm not going to have a salon question. Okay. Where can someone ask a question to you directly, and also where can they find the hair if they wanted to buy the hair or whatever?
Yeah. So you can go to my Instagram at @Sandreto, SANDRETTO.
Okay.
Or you can email me, info@BrittanySandreto.com. And the hair is 431 Hair. You can go to our salon page. It's all there as well. Or you can go to the website, 431hair.com. But yeah, ask me anything. I love it.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.